Do you ever feel like there's a quiet expectation that after you hit 60, you're supposed to just slow down? Maybe you've heard it hinted at, or perhaps you've even started to feel it yourself. A sense that certain things just aren't possible anymore. That your best years, your strongest years, are behind you. It's a painful reality many men face. This subtle pressure to fade into the background, to accept limitations that might not actually be real. You might notice yourself avoiding activities you once loved because you think you're too old. Or perhaps you dismiss new opportunities because that's for younger guys. It can feel isolating, like you're losing a part of who you are, simply because the calendar turned a certain page. But here's a surprising truth. A powerful secret, a lot of what we believe about aging, especially for men after 60, simply isn't true. Many of the limitations we accept aren't due to inevitable aging, but to deeply ingrained myths that have been passed down and accepted without question. In this video, we're going to pull back the curtain on 3 of the most common and damaging myths men over 60 are told, or tell themselves. We'll look at why they aren't true and, more importantly, what you can do about it right now to reclaim your strength, your vitality, and your future. Get ready to challenge some outdated ideas. Watch to the end for something that will truly surprise you and might just change how you see the rest of your life. Let's start by tackling one of the biggest myths head-on. One that really gets under the skin of many men, the idea that significant muscle loss and physical weakness are just an unavoidable part of getting older, and that once you're past 60, you can't really build strength or muscle mass anymore. It's that painful feeling when something that used to be easy, carrying groceries, lifting a grandchild, climbing a flight of stairs, suddenly feels like a major effort, or worse, causes pain. You might hear someone say, "Well, what do you expect at your age?" And you start to believe them. You might even stop trying to stay active because you think, "What's the point? It's just going to keep getting worse." This belief can lead to a vicious cycle. You do less because you feel weaker, which makes you weaker, which makes you do even less. It robs you of your independence, your ability to enjoy hobbies like gardening or fishing, and even impacts your confidence. The painful reality isn't the muscle loss itself, but the acceptance of it as inevitable and irreversible after a certain age. You might think hitting the gym is pointless now, or that lifting weights is dangerous for someone your age. But here's the powerful truth: this myth ignores you absolutely. Can build muscle and increase your strength after 60. This isn't just wishful thinking, it's backed by science. The process of muscle loss as we age, called sarcopenia, can be significantly slowed down, stopped, and, in many cases, reversed through specific types of activity, primarily resistance or strength training. Think about it. Your muscles respond to challenge at any age. They adapt, they grow stronger, they repair. Your body's ability to do this doesn't magically shut off when you blow out 60 candles. So, how do you debunk this myth in your own life? The actionable step is simple, but requires consistency. Start incorporating resistance training into your routine. This doesn't mean you need to become a competitive bodybuilder or even join a fancy gym. Although you certainly could if you wanted to. Resistance training just means working your muscles against some kind of force. This could be lifting weights, using resistance bands, or even just using your own body weight. Start small, especially if you're new to this or haven't been active in a while. Simple exercises like squats, even using a chair to sit down and stand up from, push-ups against a wall, or lifting light dumbbells can make a huge difference. The key is progression, gradually increasing the challenge as you get stronger. This might mean doing more repetitions, using slightly heavier weights, or trying slightly harder variations of the exercises. Why does this work? When you challenge your muscles, you create tiny tears in the muscle fibers. This sounds bad, but it's actually the signal for your body to repair and rebuild those fibers, making them thicker and stronger. This process happens whether you're 25 or 75. Your hormones and metabolism might be a little different than when you were younger, which means progress might seem slower. But it absolutely happens. And the benefits go far beyond just being able to lift heavier things. Increased muscle mass boosts your metabolism, helping you manage your weight. Stronger muscles support your joints, reducing aches and pains and lowering your risk of conditions like osteoarthritis. Building strength also dramatically improves your balance and stability, which is crucial for preventing falls, a major concern as we age, and the feeling of regaining strength, of being capable again, does wonders for your mental health and confidence. Imagine being able to walk further, play with your grandkids more easily, or tackle home projects without feeling completely wiped out. These are not just possibilities. They are attainable realities when you refuse to accept the myth that significant strength is out of reach after 60. Think about examples you might have seen. Maybe an older gentleman in your community who still gardens vigorously, or someone you know who picked up a new physical hobby like hiking or cycling later in life. These aren't anomalies. They are living proof that age isn't the primary barrier. The barrier is often the belief that it is. Getting started can be as simple as finding a senior-specific fitness class at a local community center, watching some reputable online exercise videos designed for older adults, or even just committing to doing a few bodyweight exercises in your living room 3 times a week. Consulting with your doctor before starting any new exercise program is always a good idea, especially if you have underlying health conditions. But don't let fear or the outdated myth hold you back. Your body is still incredibly capable of adapting and getting stronger. You are not too old to build muscle and reclaim your physical vitality. It's a myth that limits you. The truth is liberating, now. That covers the myth about physical strength, which is so important for independence and quality of life. But there's another painful myth that affects men deeply, often in a more private and sometimes unspoken way. Continuing on from that powerful truth about physical strength, let's address another myth that causes significant anxiety and loss of confidence for many men over 60. The idea that sexual desire and function inevitably decline to the point of disappearance, rendering a fulfilling, intimate life impossible. This painful belief can lead to feelings of inadequacy, strain relationships, and contribute to a sense of losing a fundamental part of one's identity as a man. You might start avoiding intimacy, or perhaps you and your partner have just accepted that that's just how it is now, because you think age has shut down that part of your life. It's a quiet sorrow that doesn't often get talked about openly, but it impacts happiness and connection deeply. The painful reality is not that changes don't occur with age. They can and often do. But the myth is that these changes mean the end of intimacy and pleasure. That is simply not true. While hormone levels, circulation, and other factors do shift over time, a satisfying and active intimate life is absolutely possible and, in fact, beneficial after 60. The decline or difficulties often attributed solely to age are frequently caused or exacerbated by other factors, many of which are treatable or manageable. Think about things like underlying health conditions, diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, medications being taken, lifestyle choices, smoking, excessive alcohol, poor diet, lack of exercise, stress, and psychological factors like anxiety or depression. These play a far larger role in many cases than age alone. So, how do you debunk this myth and reclaim this important aspect of life? The key actionable step is to reject the idea of inevitable decline and instead focus on health, communication, and seeking appropriate help when needed. First, address those underlying health and lifestyle factors, the same healthy habits that help with physical strength, regular exercise, a balanced diet, not smoking, moderating alcohol, also significantly improve circulation and overall health, which are crucial for sexual function. Managing stress through relaxation techniques, hobbies, or spending time in nature can also make a big difference. Second, Communication with your partner is vital. Changes in intimacy are a journey you are on together. Talking openly about desires, concerns, and exploring different forms of intimacy beyond just intercourse can deepen your connection and keep passion alive. Physical touch, affection, emotional closeness, and exploring new ways to be intimate become even more important and can be incredibly fulfilling. Third, and perhaps most importantly, don't be afraid to talk to a doctor. There are effective treatments available for common issues like erectile dysfunction, which are often caused by treatable medical conditions or side effects of medication, not just age. Discussing any changes or concerns with your doctor can lead to solutions that you might not have thought were possible. They can assess your overall health, review your medications, and discuss options like lifestyle changes, medications, or other therapies. Accepting this myth means closing the door on an important part of life and relationship. Debunking it means opening up possibilities for continued connection, pleasure, and intimacy. It requires shifting the focus from performance to partnership and well-being, and recognizing that your body and your capacity for intimacy are still very much alive and capable of bringing joy and connection. Now, let's move on to the third powerful myth that can truly limit how men see their later years, impacting their sense of purpose and potential. The myth that cognitive decline is inevitable and significant after 60, meaning your ability to learn new things, stay sharp, and contribute intellectually diminishes rapidly. It's that painful moment when you misplace something, forget a name, or take longer to grasp a new concept, and the immediate, fearful thought is, this is it, it's downhill from here. You might start to shy away from mentally challenging tasks, avoid learning new technology, or even hesitate to engage in complex conversations because you worry you won't keep up. This myth fosters a fear of losing your mind and can lead to social withdrawal and a decline in activities that keep the brain engaged. The painful reality isn't that some changes in cognitive processing speed might occur. They can. But the myth is that this means inevitable, widespread, untreatable decline, or that you are incapable of learning and adapting. This simply isn't supported by the full picture of how the brain works throughout life. The truth is, the brain remains remarkably adaptable and capable of learning and forming new connections, a process called neuroplasticity, regardless of your age. While the risk of conditions like dementia does increase with age, significant cognitive decline is not a guaranteed part of aging for everyone, and there are many things you can do to maintain and even improve your cognitive function well into your later years. How do you debunk this myth and keep your mind sharp? The actionable steps involve actively engaging your brain, body, and social life, and paying attention to overall health. First, embrace lifelong learning. Your brain thrives on novelty and challenge. This doesn't mean you have to go back to university. Although it could be learning a new language, picking up a musical instrument, taking an online course in a subject that interests you, tackling challenging puzzles like crosswords or Sudoku, or even just reading books on diverse topics. The key is to engage in activities that make you think and solve problems. Second, physical activity, which we discussed earlier for strength, is also incredibly beneficial for brain health. Exercise increases blood flow to the brain, reduces inflammation, and stimulates the growth of new brain cells and connections. A strong body supports a strong mind. Regular walks, swimming, cycling, or any activity that gets your heart rate up helps protect against cognitive decline. Third, social connection is a powerful antidote to cognitive decline. Interacting with others, engaging in conversations, participating in group activities, and maintaining relationships provide mental stimulation and emotional support, both of which are protective for brain health. Loneliness and isolation, on the other hand, are significant risk factors for cognitive issues. Join clubs, volunteer, spend time with family and friends, or find new social circles. Fourth, prioritize sleep. Poor sleep quality and insufficient sleep are linked to cognitive problems. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night. Establishing a regular sleep schedule and creating a relaxing bedtime routine can help. Fifth, nutrition plays a role. A heart-healthy diet, like the Mediterranean diet, rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean protein, and healthy fats like those found in olive oil and fatty fish is also good for your brain. These foods provide the nutrients and antioxidants needed to protect brain cells. Avoiding excessive sugar and unhealthy fats is also important. The myth of inevitable cognitive decline is a heavy burden, leading to fear and a reduced quality of life. Debunking it means recognizing that you have significant agency in maintaining your mental sharpness. Your brain is like a muscle. Use it or lose it. By staying mentally active, physically fit, socially connected, well-rested, and eating healthily, you are actively building resilience against decline and keeping your capacity to learn, adapt, and contribute vibrant. You can absolutely continue to learn new skills, master new technologies, engage in stimulating conversations, and enjoy a sharp mind well beyond 60. Don't let the myth convince you otherwise. These 3 myths about physical strength, sexual function, and cognitive ability are powerful precisely because they target core aspects of male identity and capability. But by understanding the truth behind them and taking actionable steps, you can defy these limitations and live a much fuller, more vibrant life. So, we've walked through 3 major myths that far too many men accept after the age of 60. The idea that losing significant strength and muscle is unavoidable, that a fulfilling intimate life comes to an end, and that sharp cognitive function is destined to decline rapidly. It's clear that these aren't just harmless old wives' tales. They are beliefs that can profoundly limit your life, stealing your confidence, restricting your activities, and impacting your relationships and overall happiness. The painful reality is the consequence of believing these myths, becoming less active, withdrawing socially, accepting a reduced quality of life, simply because you think that's what aging means. But as we've seen, the truth is far more empowering. Your body's ability to build strength and muscle doesn't disappear. Your capacity for intimacy and connection remains vibrant, often shifting in focus, but not necessarily ending. And your brain's potential to learn, adapt, and stay sharp continues throughout your life, actively supported by how you live. Remember, small changes, consistently applied, can make a monumental difference in challenging these myths. It's not about turning back the clock or trying to be someone you were decades ago. It's about honoring where you are now and understanding the incredible potential you still possess. It's about refusing to be defined or limited by an outdated number or a set of untrue beliefs. Whether it's starting with 5 minutes of simple chair squats today, making a conscious effort to have an open conversation with your partner, or deciding to learn 3 new words in a different language this week. Each small step chips away at the foundation of these myths and builds a new reality, one where you are capable, vital, and engaged. Think about the life you want to live in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. Do you want to be sidelined by false limitations? Or do you want to be actively participating, exploring, connecting, and growing? The choice is yours. And it starts with rejecting these myths. Embrace the possibility that you are stronger, more capable, and more adaptable than you might currently believe. Your experience, your wisdom, and your unique perspective are valuable assets at any age. Don't let the fear of aging, fueled by untrue myths, rob you of the vibrant years ahead. This is your time to redefine what getting older looks like, not just for yourself, but perhaps setting an example for others around you too. Be the man who defies expectations, not out of stubbornness, but out of a true understanding of his own potential. I genuinely hope this has given you some things to think about and, more importantly, the courage to challenge those limiting beliefs. You are not too old. You are capable. You are adaptable. You are still growing and learning. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Have you encountered these myths? What steps are you taking, or will you start taking, to debunk them in your own life? Share your experiences or questions in the comments below. Your story might just be the encouragement someone else needs to hear. If you found this video helpful and empowering, please give it a like. It really helps us reach more people who could benefit from this message. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss future videos aimed at helping you live your best life at every age. Thank you for watching. Remember this: live your best life at every age.